Okay, so we're going to talk about the first activities that we're going to do now that we know how to turn our collar on, what contact points we need, how to get our working level. And the first thing that we like to teach here is a place command. It's going to do a lot of things for you. It's going to get you accustomed to giving a command like a command, rewarding it, remembering to release it with your break command, and it will get you fluent using your collar yourself and for your dog to understand the language of the collar. The second thing that we'll normally teach is a come command. So there's a method to our madness here over the years of using these things a lot. So there's a reason. Try not to reinvent the wheel on your own. Try to follow this systematically. Hey Landheim people, we're going to start teaching a place command with the electronic collar with a dog that's new to this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my collar down to 1. And you're going to hear a training speaker that we have turned on. When I bump this, you're going to hear that. So she can't feel it on 2 or 1. Try 3, doesn't look like she can feel it. There's 4. And at 5, I can see her ears wiggle just a little bit. So in a moment, that's where we're going to start working her at. And I'll tell you as I turn it up and down. But we're going to need a few things to start teaching the place command. A collar, can't hook a leash to your e-collar. Going to need some meaty rewards that the dog's familiar with. A stand, don't do this on a placemat, get you a little stand. And several steps here. My first step is going to be to get Peppa here comfortable getting up on here by giving her food. And that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna help her up here with no command, reward her a few times, and teach her the first thing, break. The break means you can get off, but I don't have a place command. Now, this dog took more than a day to get where we're at. She was scared. So it don't matter if it takes more than a day. Keep rewarding on here and saying break until your dog's not scared anymore. Break. Now, from at least 10 feet away, I'm going to tap on my working level 3 times, and I'm going to give the command place and guide her here and reward her. Place. Good. For my first week, every time that I say place, tap this 2 or 3 times, guide her to the reward. Now, should she get off, I'll start bumping it and guide her back on until I say break. Good girl. I'm gonna do this and repeat this again. Place. Good. We don't care if she walks, stands, lays, there's no stay command. But we do have place, reward, break. And this is where we're going to start. Over and over in little 5 to 10 minute repetitions. Place. Her first experience with the feeling of the static at a low level is that it's leading her to reward. This is not anything to do with aversives. This isn't what we'd be doing to keep the dog out of the trash or off of the kitchen counter. If your dog doesn't look pretty much like this isn't my dog, it's a dog we're teaching, it's not a trick, your dog should be this happy after feeling this in the beginning. And there we stay. All right, there's step 1. Hey, couple things to be really careful. Should the dog come off here before I've told it break, I'm gonna start bumping this, but don't be in a hurry. If you stem the dog here, that would be a signal to the dog that it's not supposed to be on here. So don't do a preemptive strike. As soon as you can, first couple days, you're gonna have this long line in your hand. But as soon as you can, get the dog to do it dragging the long line, break. Both break and place. Peppa, place. Good girl. Very nice. That's a good girl. Peppa. Good girl. That's what you do when you get a mistake. See it through. Try not to say place, 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 place. Good girl. Look at you. Up, wrong. There you go. That's a good girl. Very nice. Don't be shy from getting excitement. It's your best friend. Try not to warn your dog like, Peppa, don't get off here. No, she's doing what I want, so I'm happy. She comes off, my tone changes, and I help her get it right. Break. Yay. Peppa, place. There we go. Good girl. Yay. Your reward placement, kind of important. It can be hand to mouth, or it can be stand to mouth. But it can't be out here. This is where the valuable spot is. We really want the dog to understand that they can walk, sit, stand, lay, do anything they want. By the end of the third week, we're going to be asking the dog to stay here for over an hour under real life distraction. We can't expect the dog to hold a sit stay for an hour. That wouldn't be good. Place. Good girl. Very nice. All righty. All right, almost immediately, you're going to be faced with the 3 Ds. They're pretty famous in dog training. When we teach the stay or the place command, the first thing I'm going to want you to get is solid 1-minute durations where you go nowhere but rewardville here. You're going to be in reward position. The dog's staying, and you give a piece. And you give a piece. I want you to have at least 3 successful 1-minute durations where you went nowhere but the reward. Maybe the next day or in the next session, I'm going to want you to build some distance. But I want you to be pretty conservative with your building of the distance, and that I want you to go in and out in about 6-foot increments so that your dog gets the hang that you come and go, but when you go, coming back, all it does is mark a reward event for the dog. So we get 3 successful sessions of 6 feet of distance. We've already have our minute duration. Now we're getting around 6 feet with our distance, and we're going to bring in distraction one at a time. I'm going to continue to little bit by little bit add duration and distances, but now I'll have somebody come into the room. They're probably going to, my distraction person is probably going to come over and reward the dog and leave. But what I don't want you to do is go full-blown ringing the doorbell, pizza delivery guys at the door as my first distraction. We're going to ease into that. Failures, we're still at a really low working level here. Failures are going to be met with long duration bumps as I guide the dog back to the reward center. And then the successes are going to be met with multiple reward events. For us, in real life, I'm going to tell you, we're ditching the dish right away. All of the dog's real dog food, Peppa's real dog food, is in my reward. I'm going to not waste the food in the bowl when I can use it for a reward and get a happier and happier dog. So, first week, maybe 5 to 7 days, I say not much more than 15 minutes on here continuously without breaks and play. And then you build it from there. All right? So you've watched the video, and we're gonna wrap this up. About your place training and the use of reward and a remote training collar. that first week, I want to recap this. Every time the dog is commanded to place, the collar is going to be used at least until the dog's headed for the place. And 100% of the time, multiple rewards are going to be given on the place until you say break. It should lean way reward heavy. When you're going to see two things, the dog's made a mistake, and when you bump your collar, he hustles back and fixes his mistake and gets on the place. Or as he has just stepped off, and when the second foot hits and you bump the collar, he goes in reverse. That'll show you that your dog has a good understanding and he's acquired the skill set and he's becoming fluent in it. At that point, we're going to go ahead in the next week and start sporadically using the collar in 4 variations. Sometimes you'll use it in the now familiar collar use, reward given. Sometimes you're going to give the command with no collar, reward given. Sometimes nothing. Command is given, verbal praise, that's it. No collar, no food reward. And sometimes collar only with no food reward. Anytime that the dog comes off the place before you've said break, the collar, you use the collar in a bump fashion and guide him back until you can reward again. The final step, you're going to be in about your 3rd week. If you're an average person, it'll be what you think, the maintenance stage. The collar won't be used, food reward won't be given unless the dog fails. Verbal praise will be given. Make sure that you're very reliable in saying that break command.